This is Analog Dope, a Las Vegas-based culturally rich store offering a curated selection of books and vinyl. Now, what really intrigued me about this place is the story of how it came to be. So join me in this interview to learn how Rachelle right here, we're doing some breathing to warm up for the interview, brought this long-time vision into reality. And clearly, I'm excited. So let's get into it. Okay. We are here at Analog Dope with Rachelle.
Yes.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Rachelle.
Pleasure meeting you. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. I'm in Vegas. I'm recording conference, Grow Video Live, doing my thing. My birthday's in 2 days. And I had my friend, she was like an acquaintance, let me be real. So an acquaintance on Facebook friend.
Okay.
Say, oh, go check out Analog Dope. I'm like, I don't know anything about, I don't want to be on the strip all day. I want to see what else is out there in Vegas, right? Mm-hmm. Something more my vibe. Mm-hmm. And I was like, let me just come take the time to stop by. And so it's beautiful here.
Thank you.
The energy, the vibe, I think I said it all just in those two words. So
Thank you.
I just want to give you a chance to share who you are and why, what the story behind you creating this, and just a little insight into you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you, first of all, for being intentional, hearing about us, and then deciding to visit the space. We're here just for that, for people like you who word of mouth, you hear about a space, you hear about the good vibes, the energy, and you want to come in and just be a part of that. So again, my name is Rachelle, and Analog Dope is just a vision, a brainchild that just came about really from my childhood. I grew up in Oakland, California. I grew up down the street from a bookstore called Marcus Books, which is now today the longest running open Black-owned bookstore in the country.
Wow, that's a word.
Yeah, and my mom used to take me there, and that was kind of our solace away from everything that was going on. And I just fell in love with books as a child. I fell in love with just everything about books and stories, and that was just my thing. It carried on for me into adulthood. And I always had in the back of my mind, one day I'm going to own a bookstore. One day I'm going to own a bookstore. It just never left, like the feeling of wanting to do that. And so my wife and I, we own together. She is a musician. She's a singer. I'm also a music producer. That's how we met. After the pandemic, things kind of shut down here in Vegas, all of the entertainment. So,
which is big for Vegas, I
yeah,
imagine.
It's huge. So it was just kind of, it was earth shattering for a lot of people. And so we were just kind of like, okay, what is our shift? What is our pivot? What do we do here? And this is what emerged from that. We also have vinyl records, which we're both rooted in very deeply in music, our family and everything. So it was only right kind of like to include vinyl records in the offering in the space. So here you'll find books that are centered in Black culture. The city of Las Vegas didn't really have a space like this at the time. There have been Black-owned bookstores here in the past, but there was a few years span that it just was nothing. And it was a little bit frustrating for me. So once we had the opportunity to open a space, we started off with pop-ups, actually. And, we would have offerings of books on a table, and people would just, it would sell out. And people would say, you guys have a store. So the opportunity eventually presented itself for this space that we're in now. And so we just want to make sure that, we lovingly curate everything in the space. Everything that we offer, most things are centered in Black culture. But we have a little bit of everything: spirituality, socio-political, poetry, children's books, and of course the vinyl record selection.
Some business finance stuff.
Some business finance. We have the band books front and center. So make sure you know what's going on there. Just like I said, a little bit of everything. Fiction.
So those books are banned?
Yeah. So band books are a thing around the country, mainly based in Florida. Schools and also some prisons are banning literature that tell our stories a lot. So I try to make sure that we have those front and center and key. So because those stories are important, some of the books that we even kind of grew up reading, Toni Morrison, Blue Asai, Maya Angelou, Cage Bird, things like that.
That's banned?
Yeah, those are banned. Those books are banned in certain places around the country. Okay. And we know that those books are a part of who we are in like our culture. However, there are people who have found maybe either the language or the stories that they don't want that being told or presented. So it ends up on a challenged or a banned list.
But To Kill a Mockingbird and all these sorts of things.
Right. Exactly. Okay. So we know what it is. But yeah, we try to keep literature in the store that you won't typically find like in larger chain bookstores, and also vinyl records the same. So that's why we're here.
That's awesome. Yeah. Are you having some fun?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay, I had to check in because she was like, she has fun after the interviews are over, and I was like, no, you have fun in it, So.
Oh man.
If you were an animal, what animal would you be?
Oh man. Okay, so can I pick two?
All right, give me a hierarchy. Give me a person.
Okay, so I love elephants because they're just such an ancestral energy. They're very triumphant. They're very powerful. And they have this like immaculate memory.
They never forget.
They never forget. Yeah. So I just, there's so many like qualities I love about elephants, and they also seem very playful, and like I love the way they treat like their babies, their young. So I don't know. And I love like they seem family oriented. Like I love elephants, but I also want to be a bird. Just fly away. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. I probably would have done something like that. Yeah. Land and sky like that.
Yeah, it's hard to pick just one. Yeah. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sweet. Well, you've fulfilled, as I see it, you've accomplished a major goal. One could say your dream, opening this bookstore. A lot of people have dreams, goals, especially watching this channel. They have things they want to see manifest. And how did you, before that, why Analog Dope?
Analog Dope is, so basically I'm a child of the analog era, first of all. So I come from an era where we played records and cassette tapes and everything was analog. And then I watched the transition into the digital era. And with that transition, we're kind of stripped of the soul of things. Yes, digital connection gives us, a way to talk to people across the world, across the country. But also at the same time, we don't recognize things and people and tangible things right in front of us. And so that is such an analog element and feeling. And I just wanted to bring that back and not, I don't want us as humans to lose sight on what that analog connectivity really actually is. I also have roots in audio engineering and music production. So when I learned all of those foundational elements of analog boards and learning how to record, it was all analog. So that just always stayed with me. And so I came up with the name Analog Dope just as a way initially to release music. But I realized how much connection were in books, vinyl records, and all tangible things that are analog.
When you were speaking about, digital's great, we can do all these things. It made me think about the value of you sending somebody a text like, hey, I appreciate your presence, you mean a lot to me, versus you writing a note and giving it to them, and how differently it's received.
Absolutely.
And how there's definitely a loss. I think there's an impact that we don't, because the digital is so convenient. We don't so much think about the things that we're losing in whether it's film versus digital or
Correct. Yeah, we lose a lot of the essence of things and how it was meant to be how things were meant to be communicated or transmuted. We lose that in the digital world. And like you said, it's very convenient, and it's it's great that we have this technology. However, let's not put real things to the side and replace everything with digital components. So yeah, because it's very important, even as simple as writing, like you said, a letter, or just writing something down, journaling to yourself, is so important to keep that element of life, because all of it is energy, like we were talking about earlier today.
You just inspired me to send a letter to somebody.
Remember when we had pen pals? Like instead of just Facebook, we had actual pen pals. We would send a letter to. So.
You had to, like, something about waiting when you send something, and you got they're not gonna get it that day, but it's like it ages. I don't know, something about it. This is good. I think one point society or something, we'll wake up when we get really far down with AI, with all the advancement. It'll be like almost like a relapse, not a relapse, a calibration at some point.
Calibration, and I think we're in the middle of that right now. I think we're in the middle of calibrating, and I say that because even in this space, the people that come and actually are so interested and excited about vinyl records are young people, and they're the teenagers, they're the 20-something-year-olds, and it's like when you see young people excited about what they feel like is a new technology, or they feel like is a new thing, but it's something that's already been here, then that's where the energy is going. That's the wave. So I think that's a little bit of the recalibration that we're seeing. I think they are, the younger generation is reaching for something more than what's in the phone. They know there's something more out there, and that is the analog world. That's, that's what's real, things tangible you can hold on to.
This is touching me somewhere. I like this, making me appreciate your space and everything more. So that's great. So I was saying earlier, you had a mission, you had a goal. You always had in the back of your mind, I'm gonna have a bookstore one day. A lot of people have goals, whether it's I'm gonna have a bakery or this business, or how did you do that? How did you see this through to get here?
Wow, that's a great question. So for me, I've been this way my whole life. My mom could probably tell you a little bit better. I've always been a little bit relentless about my goals. Sometimes even to a fault of my own. I've learned, as I've gotten older, to prioritize certain things like my health, my mental health, wellness, and things like that, so that I don't, as I'm trying to attain my goals, I don't, damage myself or, not sleep or things of that sort. I've been that way. However, I think it's just learning to utilize a discipline, a mental, a spiritual discipline to stay focused on your goals, not allow distractions to get you so far off of course that you don't accomplish or achieve or finish something that you set out to do, or that you feel like is your purpose. I think a lot of times we know what our purpose is, and we kind of just allow ourselves to be distracted. So just having that mental focus and that discipline, being prepared for opportunities, writing things down is always an important thing for me. One thing I really, really tripped out about was after opening this space, I was going through some old papers, and I found a drawing of a bookstore record shop that was done probably in 1999. And I was like, wow, this has been here, the whole time. But it was something that was actually on paper. And sometimes, we quit the journey before it even starts. We just give up. And so don't give up. Just keep going.
Persistence,
absolutely.
Did you had that was in you? What about those people that that struggle with that? You think just having the intention? How do you cultivate persistence?
I think anything can be attained. I think you can work at something. They say, you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have discipline, you don't have persistence, you won't get anywhere. But you can have less talent, But if you have that discipline, you have that persistence, then you can get, where you're trying to go. So I think that even if you feel like you don't have it, we all have something inside we can tap into if you really want something. So it's just digging a little bit deeper, I would say, into yourself and finding it and just utilizing it.
I guess it makes me think we all have a why, right? Because there's the thing you want. It's just a thing, but it's like the reason, like why,
Right.
like why did you, this bookstore, why did you want to see this through outside of it being there? Do you know why? I'm sure you know.
Yeah, because for one, what a bookstore did for me.
Yeah.
What it did for me was ultimately, I think, save my life. It put me on a different path, having access to books and seeing books with Black faces, with people of color, just all kinds of stories on the books. That helped me to tap deeper into myself, even as a child. And I think when children and young people are able to see themselves in books and stories, it just broadens your horizons. It allows you to know that there's more to offer in the world than just what's in front of you. I didn't grow up in the best place. I grew up in West Oakland. And so there were not a lot of positive examples and opportunities like all around, but I can go to a book and I can open a book and I can read something that will just make me feel like, wow, I can be that, So for me, that was important. And I carried that, like I said, through my adulthood. So I knew if it was important for me, it was important for a lot of other people as well. So it felt important to have a space like this and offer this, because I feel like every book, every vinyl record that walks out here, it raises the vibration. It helps to raise the vibration of a community, ultimately the planet.
What do you think books are underestimated?
Are they underestimated? I think they're underappreciated for sure. I think books are definitely something that we have within our reach that, are not taken fully advantage of. I think sometimes we're searching for so many different answers in so many different ways. And sometimes it's just writing the pages of a book, so definitely underappreciated.
What's one book that's changed your life? Like, no doubt, that one.
That one is a book called Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh.
It's right over there.
Right over there. I always keep it like front and center. And when people ask me that, because I really remember the transformation that happened in my life with that book, growing up in Pentecostal church, growing up in a very like religious background, and just kind of always asking all of these other questions like about, spirituality, God, what else is out there, and just kind of not receiving any of those answers from the adults around me, but knowing there was more. So when I was like in my early 20s, I received that book and I came across that book. And
I love Neil Donald Walsh, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so glad. It's just like, wow, it could be a little bit scary for people at first, especially if you were raised within a certain religion. However, it's just for all humans. It's just for anybody that's seeking answers, about life and God. So definitely transformational for me.
I'm going to go ahead and link that video below in the description because it's impactful, and you just got me present to that. Because I haven't read it. I've just watched a lot of his stuff and I've read excerpts. Yeah. So I got to finish reading myself.
Yeah, definitely read it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And lastly, wrapping up, do you consider yourself doing this, accomplishing this goal, successful?
I do. And
what does success mean to you?
Success means basically I know that I'm serving. I'm able to like walk in a purpose, at least one of my purposes, and also be able to make a living for myself. Also be able to make my mom and my family happy and proud, and be a part of something that contributes, like I said, to the overall like consciousness of the world. Like this is, my small contribution to the good of humanity, I feel like. And for me, that's success. Success is, your idea, I think, of success shifts over time as you kind of live a little bit of life, and you may initially think it's to have $1 million or this or that, but for me, I've learned is ultimately just to be able to put myself in a position to serve others, to be able to put others in a position to be inspired to do what, live their dreams and goals, even provide opportunities for other entrepreneurs or people, for them to be able to build their businesses and be able to assist in any way with that. That to me feels like success.
Well said. Well said. Almost seems like you've thought about this before.
A little bit.
We talk about money on my channel here and there. Is a bookstore profitable? Is it a profitable space? Is it hard?
It is very hard. For us, there's no blueprint. There's no way. There's no, nothing you find that says do this. You just kind of are figuring it out as you go along. It'll be 2 years next month that we've been open.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And it has definitely come with several challenges. Challenges you will never even think could happen. So along the way, I think what you have to do is survey your area, survey, the city you're in. We're in Las Vegas. Find your market. Find what works for you. Find what the community responds to, because ultimately people are your main driver. Word of mouth, like you showed up because someone told you to come here, right? Just
That's right.
Word of mouth, right? And so you want to make sure that you're connecting with people. This space is not just about us just making a lot of money. It's really about connecting with people. And so once you do that, like the money comes. Everything else, it comes because people enjoy the space. They want to work with you. They want to do more. They want to see you succeed. And so people will do what's necessary to be helpful and try to just help you succeed as a whole. So
that's true, because I found this book. Obviously, there's a lot of books here, but because of that and talking to you, I was like, I'm going to get this book today. Just like you said, right?
Yeah. So as far as being profitable, I think you have to find other ways to bring in income outside of just the books, outside of just the vinyl records. We do some vendor events, we do workshops, we do other things that that present opportunity, for us and other people to actually make some money here and there. So you just have to get very creative, I will say, with how you can spread out the resources and bring things in, and you'll figure it out along the way for you, Yeah.
What's one, we talked about persistence. What's one word of advice you would tell beginning entrepreneurs on whatever they're doing that you wish you would have heard or knew?
Learn about money, learn about finances, study it. Understand finances, because I think a lot of us we grew up with the sense of knowing how to hustle, of knowing how to go get it. We grew up with that. However, it is something very different to understand financial literacy and how to just not go get it, but what to do with it once you have it, how to invest, where to invest, when. I would say to any entrepreneur, before you kind of just dive into things head first, just make sure that you're consistently learning and reading something in regards to financial literacy. So once you get to a certain space, you can know how to manage your money. You can know how to make it grow. I really do wish somebody told me and taught me that years ago, instead of, it took a little bit longer, but that's a very important message.
I second that message. This is a PSA. That is a very important lesson that I'll just leave it there. I'll leave it there. So I did want to, I noticed you were wearing two things, a shirt and a hat. And your shirt says ancestral work in progress, which is quite a statement. Could you just say something about that shirt?
I just actually made this shirt like last week, and it I was reading, and then I kind of like closed my eyes, and I guess I was daydreaming at that point, and this phrase came to me. And I feel like it came from the ancestors. This is a work that we do that I feel like goes far beyond just me, my generation. This is work that our ancestors, they laid the groundwork for us to be able to do. You know, we come from a lineage, of course, where we understand that we weren't even allowed to read. We had to learn. We were stripped of our culture. We were stripped of everything, and we had to relearn just a whole different way of life that we know now as being American. However, that groundwork was laid, and leading all the way up to, for my family, you know, I think about the struggle of my grandparents who are no longer here. I think about some of my friends who have passed away, who are now an ancestor for me, that I hear their voices. And as I do this work, they're right beside me. They're right beside me, and they would have been doing this work with me or watching me do this work. And so I do this for them. And so this is all a work in progress constantly. And there's my wife, the other owner of the space.
Oh, perfect. Wow, just in time.
Yeah.
Hello.
Perfect timing. Okay. You can answer some questions. Yeah.
And your hat is
hat by it's by a brand, I think it says Black by Popular Demand, and this is by a brand called HGC Apparel, Black owned brand, very prominent, especially out here in Las Vegas. And they just make a dope brand that centers Black culture. Is just for us, by us. And so you know, the things that I put on that I wear, it's either our brands or, you know, I try to make sure I'm just representing something that's meaningful.
As a Black-owned bookstore with representing a lot of Black authors and memorabilia, ideas, philosophy, what is the value of Black culture?
Oh, our culture is gold. It's a gold mine. You know, like just even walking into this space, you're walking into a gold mine, and that is another unappreciated part of the books, the literature, the music. Our culture is everything. As we know, everyone else takes from our culture. And
it's foundational.
It's foundational. You know, going all the way back to the motherland. Like our culture is everything. Everything starts with us. So yes, our culture is that gold mine.
Got it. Love that. What would you like to just, what do you want to say, just signing out? Mm-hmm. Obviously, you guys are in Vegas. What would you like to say about promoting the bookstore as a whole and yourself, or whatever you'd like to share?
Absolutely. Yeah, we are the Analog Dope Store, right in Las Vegas in the Arts District. Come and visit us. We are a book and vinyl record store that's centered in Black culture. We have a little bit of everything. Our entire store is curated with love by myself and my wife, from the books to the music and everything that's in here. This is just a labor of love. You'll feel the vibes, you'll feel the energy, you'll feel the love when you walk into our space. Tell a friend, bring a friend with you, and just come down and just see us and love on us.
It's been a pleasure having a conversation. I hope you've had some fun in the interview.
This was very fun. Thank you very much.
Okay. I'll give you a hug. It's
okay. Thank you.
If you're ever in the Las Vegas area again, you want to make sure you visit Analog Dope. Let Rachelle know Trey sent you. Thank you for watching as always. Let me know what you thought of this interview, and I'll see you on the next recommended video. Bye-bye.